Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome for today's webinar organized by Western Region Business Avenues with Indian Railways and the role of RDSO. I would request the Vice Chairman of Western Region, Mr. Mahesh Velu sir, to kindly welcome and introduce our speaker of the day. Mahesh sir, please.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, this is Mahesh Velu from Vaco Sales Private Limited, Mumbai. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Aniruddha Kumar Bharati. He's the Executive Director, Quality Assurance, presently working as the Executive Director, heading zone of RDSO, which is under the Ministry of Railways. He has over 20 years of rich experience in various capacities in the field of roll-it maintenance and production. He has also served as the Director, Urban Transport in the Ministry of Urban Development. And today he's going to give us insights on the business avenues with Indian Railways. I hereby turn the speech to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Velu, for the nice introduction you have given about me. And first of all, I very warm welcome to this webinar to all of you. And since they are in the basically in the beginning of this year, I must wish you Happy New Year to all of you. So
thank you. I wish you the same.
So with that, I am sharing a small presentation. Maybe 10-12 minutes, and then we will have a live interaction with all of you. So if I can answer your queries and clear your doubts, that will be my pleasure. So thank you, and I will thank Mr. Bipin Sinha for asking me to join this session. Thank you so much, Mr. Sinha.
I thank the Railway Board for forwarding your name for this purpose.
So nice. So the basic purpose of this webinar is to have interaction on the business opportunities with Indian Railways. So I am just giving you a brief account what the procurement size and what are the benefits that we are giving to MSMEs, and how we are basically promoting Make in India and Made in India. That is the focus. And then I will, in the last of my presentation, I will basically give you some inputs to how to basically get yourself registered with RDSO and what is the policy on that by the RDSO. So Indian Railways, as of now, we are procuring materials worth more than 70,000 crores. I think that is Indian Railways is the biggest organization in our country on this front. We are procuring the most on and in fact much higher than many of the other organizations, bigger organizations. We are giving all the benefits that is mandated to mandated by Government of India to MSMEs, and we are promoting Make in India. That I will elaborate in the further slides. But before that, you see, our planning, Indian Railways planning is to double our loading by 2030. So as of now, we are having around, say, roughly 3 lakhs of wagons. That requirement will go up drastically. So there will be a lot of requirement for components in wagon manufacturing and maintenance. We are going for complete electrification of rail tracks. So there is a lot of services and requirement of material there also. And as you know that we have already decided, and in fact we are acting fast on this, that we are converting all the ICF type coaches to LHB. So maybe after 10 years you will not be seeing the ICF type coaches in our network. Also we are, and since our loading, our passenger services are increasing, we need more locomotives, and railway planning is to go for not 100%, but the increased enhanced requirement for electric locomotives. So there is also a lot of scope and opportunity for all the vendors from all sectors, whether it is pure mechanical or electrical or any other engineering. So there is a lot of scope and opportunity lies there in Indian Railways. So you will be interested in know how we are procuring the materials. So basically, broadly, you will say we have a two type of procurement system. One is controlled. Controlled means there we have a system of approved vendor, and one is from the open source. Anybody who, whether he is approved or not approved, can participate in that tender. This basically broadly two modes of procurement. So this session is more on the control procurement side, and you people are basically interested in knowing how the registration to RDSO or production units are basically done. So this is the two methods that we are using. So for vendor approval, we have various agencies over Indian Railways, and they have been given their specific mandated tasks in what area they have to do the vendor approval and the controlling of the vendors. So RDSO is basically interested with all the SNT items, TRD items. TRD is basically the OHE that you are saying, wagon, track and engineering department items. And apart from this, there are few specific items for other rolling stocks also, like LHB or EMU, non-EMU LHB coaches and electric loco items, which is interested and by Railway Board to RDSO. So those items will also be included with the RDSO. RCF is doing LHB coach items, and except those items, obviously, which has been entrusted to RDSO, ICF shall be doing the EMU non-LHB items except items identified for RDSO. So that goes with all the other vendor approving agencies. MCF LHB items, CLW is basically focusing on electric loco items. BLW, earlier it was known as DLW, Diesel Locomotive Works. Now it is known as Banaras Locomotive Works. That unit is concentrating on diesel loco items. Core is for railway electrification items, and all these units are basically shall be focusing on items which are not listed for RDSO in those particular areas. Coming to RDSO, what RDSO is, to give you just a brief, we are headquartered at Manak Nagar, Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. Our organization is headed by Director General. We have, as of now, we have 32 directorates. 22 out of that, 24 is handling the technical areas like design and approvals, and there are few directorates which are basically focusing on quality assurance, like inspections, some vendor approvals, renewal audits, etc. We have 7 field units based in Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Bengaluru, Bhopal, Hyderabad, and Jaipur. These are basically just smaller field units which are reaching that you can also reach to for clearing your doubts and some interactions. But main activities is concentrated at Lucknow. And this Camtech that is at Gwalior, that is also as of now part of our RDSO organization. The mandate what has been given to RDSO by the Railway Board or Ministry is we are the final authority on all technical matters pertaining to IR and sister organizations, including approval of technical specification and standardizations. This is one of the major areas that in which we are working. And this mandate I am basically reading out and sharing with you so that you can know the broad areas of work of the RDSOs. Research and development of new and improved design and technology. Any new design and technology which is introduced in the RDSO is basically studied, examined, and approved by RDSO. Advisor, we are working as advisor to Railway Board on all technical matters. We are testing and recommending authority for statutory clearances including metro systems. The testing and clearance of the metro tracks and rolling stocks is also done by RDSO. Quality assurance and product commercialization for items allotted by Railways Board. That is basically this is the mandate that has been given to RDSO, and for that we are basically having this webinar. Mainly, we are the Indian Railways platform for international interaction in R&D domain and standards developing organization for products, processes, and services for railway transport sector in India. It is not only for the railway ministry, it is for entire rail sector in Government of India. So with that mandate, we are doing this vendor approval also. And earlier, you may be knowing, we used to have a portal for vendor approval, and all other vendor approving agency, they were having a separate systems for vendor approval, maybe online, maybe offline. But now, from last 6 months, we are having an unified vendor approval module, which is common for all the vendor approving agencies. The same vendor approval module is used by all ICF, RCF, CORE, CLW, DLW, BLW. So all the vendor approving agencies of Indian Railways are now using this module, and we have a common platform for entire Indian Railways. So, and there are benefits, because once you know one system, you are basically aware of the systems for entire Indian Railways, whether it is one unit or other unit. And we are also having cross information from once it is for some information has been verified by one of the agency for a particular vendor, that is available to all other vendor approving agencies. So we have a lot of cross information availability also, and that helps in basically enhancing and processing the case faster. And it is also good for you that you do not have to submit all the informations each and every time, because we are having those informations. Even if you have gone for one unit, the information is available to other units also. One of the major procedural change that we have done for vendor approval. Earlier, we used to have a system of prototype approval, and then in some cases field trial also. And only after completion of this prototype testing, and in the cases where the field trial is there, so after approval of clearing the field trial, only we used to give you approval as a developed vendor. Now the process has been changed a bit, and what we are doing that once we have assessed your capacity and capability, that is the infrastructure, manpower. After that, we are giving you a conditional approval, and with that conditional approval, you can procure your orders from the railways or other agencies who are procuring these materials on behalf of railways. And when you are going to supply those items, this prototype testing or trial shall be done. So you are quite advanced in this case, and the process is very fast, which is basically delay has been curtailed for your trials and prototype sampling. So that is the big advantage that has been basically given by us to the vendors. And apart from this, unified vendor approval module we have already discussed. We have reduced the registration charges drastically. Earlier for MSMEs also it was 1.5 lakhs plus GST, which has been now reduced to 10,000, just 10,000 in all the cases by Railway Board recently. And for non-MSMEs, it has been 2.5 lakhs, which has been reduced to just 15,000. So the great relief has been given to all the vendors. Testing charges has been waived off completely by RDSO. Earlier, in some cases, there was a hefty, basically, testing charges that, but yes, that was for very specific and very few items, but that was quite a good amount. So even all the testing charges has been waived off. These are basically the actions and procedural changes that we have taken to promote more and more participation by the our MSMEs and the Indian industries. We are also approaching industry for various suggestions they might be having in promoting our basically Make in India and Made in India policy. If you find anything that is hindering that, and you can manufacture the item, but some rule and regulation of RDSO or railway is hindering your entry into that particular market. So you can just come to us, you can suggest us, we will definitely examine and we will be very positive to incorporate those suggestions. So we have a open-ended UIA scheme, which you can always give us suggestions. And we have provided free access to all our specifications and drawings, so that you do not have to move around here and there for getting the technical requirements, technical know-how of the product. So these are the changes that we have done, and we are always reviewing our stance, and we keep on changing our policies so that it suits our Indian industries. And we like that our more and more Indian industries participate in our system. I am, as I was already emphasizing, we are always reviewing our specification and conditions that has been laid down in our STRs and specifications. So to suit Indian agencies, Indian industry, we always try to basically remove the conditions which prohibit or restrict our industries in participating that. This is a continuous process. We are always reviewing it regularly, and based on your suggestions, our CEO motto also, whenever we see that this condition can be removed and that will benefit our industries, we always do that. And some you have many times we get suggestions also. So we are open to all, and this is basically a link that has been provided, that where we have asked for open-ended expression of interest from the industry partners. So we are always open to whatever changes or suggestions you are giving us for benefiting the Indian industries. For MSMEs, as I told you, whatever has been mandated by the government of India, like in the procurement, Indian Railways also is following the same practices which has been mandated by India, that we are basically earmarking 25% of our requirement for MSMEs. Tender cost is free. There is no tender cost for MSMEs. We have basically exempted them from the position of earnest money, and price also we are giving price preference. Price preference in the sense we will be given L1, even if you are not L1, that is the lowest bidder, and you are falling within the 15% of the price which has been quoted by the lowest bidder, you will be given an option to match with the L1. If you can match with the L1, you will be given order that price. In fact, the extra benefit has been given to MSMEs, if you are not able to basically bid the lowest rate, even then you will get the chance to supply. And as I told you, our vendor application fee has been reduced to just 10,000 for MSMEs. So these are the benefits, and time to time government of India takes some decisions, and that we are implementing for the benefit of the MSMEs. Coming to the vendor application process, fees that we have already discussed for MSMEs, it is just now 10,000 rupees, which earlier used to be 1.5 lakhs, and for non-MSMEs it is just 15,000, which earlier used to be 2.5 lakhs. In case of foreign vendors also, we have reduced the charges so that more participation is there, and very healthy competition is there as far as price is concerned. So for enrolling with the RDSO, what are the prerequisites? The first prerequisite is you are registered with IREPS. We have a website, ireps.gov.in. This is basically a website which has been developed initially for procurement, and all the tenders, procurement tenders by the Indian Railway used to be floated on this site. Then we shifted the works tender also on this site, and now we have integrated with the vendor registration also. So in any case, you have to, for participating in the tenders for Indian Railways, you require to be registered with IRAPS. So that is the first prerequisite for vendor approval through UVM. For this registration on IREPS, it is just online process. You need a class 3 digital certificate, and the documents that is required is like ISO certificate, latest electricity bill, आपको premise ownership documents like whether it is leased, rented, all these documents, or it is owned. So those documents has to be uploaded. Factory license or NSIC certificate, yeah, SSI registration certificate. Such certificates needs to be uploaded. Authorization to communicate with RDSO. That the person who is communicating or having this certificate, digital certificate, must have a valid authorization by their company owners or board of directors, or who is the competent man. You have to basically upload your memorandum of articles or article of association, as the case may be. So these are the basic documents that everybody is having that needs to be uploaded, and it is basically approved by the stores directorate, and your registration is done. This is totally completely online process. You do not have to visit anywhere in person. So after getting this registration, you will be basically, this is the site for IRAPS. You see this is UVM. So you have a link for that. You can go from other menus also. So if you click here, you will be led to the next page, and you will find that the information, general guideline for basically registration and all those things is already available in our website. You can go through that. That is quite helpful, and I hope you will not be requiring any further help if you go through these links for approval process. Just to give you a brief on that, you see, as soon as you are registered with IRAPS, you will have a username and password. Through that, you will log in into the site, and you will go to that vendor approval. Yeah, there is a switch mode here. You will find this inspection module or vendor registration module here. So you have to basically select the vendor approval module if you are going for the vendor approval. Then you will be led to basically some forms which you will have to submit, some tick marks that you have to do as per your interest. So once you select, initiate a new request for fresh approval. So you will have to give some details here and submit, and then you will be basically given a token. You see, for submission of application fee. So it is now fixed 10,000. So you will be given that token. Through that token, you can make your payment through SB Collect. It's online process. And once you have done the payment, you will be basically given the access to further submission of your details and submission of your request. So these are the basic details, manufacturing unit details, what items you are intending to, and all these things you will have to basically comply to these different forms, submit your details, and final submission. So that will clear that you have submitted your request for fresh registration for a particular item. There may be few extra documents that will be required during this process other than that IRAPS registration, like compliance to related product specification that we will have to submit, Once you have selected the product, you know the specification that is available free. So you have to basically submit a compliance to the related product STR, schedule of technical requirement, basically infrastructure and manpower requirement, that is stated there. So you have to submit that compliance. And anybody who is doing a manufacturing must be having a quality assurance plan for the production and processes of the particular item. So you have the QAP available with you. We have some standard formats for that, and you have to follow that format. You have to submit your quality assurance plan according to that format. So you must be having ready with you these things. And there are certain mandatory declarations that we require by the vendors during that, like whether you are a proprietary concern, infringement to IPR of all the items, such declaration is there that you will have to sign and upload it. Now we have gone for another simplification. RDSO does product capacity assessment, and you can get it done by other agency, NSIC writes, and that certificate you have to basically upload along with your application. We are as of now we have not done this for infrastructure verification. Also, our intention is to go for a third party, and we are in the process of approving some 3-4 parties who can do the infrastructure verification also. So after that is published, maybe within 2-3 months, you will be having the list of approved infrastructure verifiers. So you can take the help of those agencies also, and you can upload that document also. That will again basically enhance and you have basically cut the delays on our side also and your side also for vendor registration. So that is yet to be published by RDSO, but we are in that process. Maybe later on we will take their help also. Once you have submitted your application, the process basically is now for the RDSO, and that includes like the paper scrutiny for the documents, whatever you have done, whether that is in order or something else is required, whether you have missed something. Such paper scrutiny is done. If everything is found okay, and then it is basically internally transferred to our field units, whoever is geographically nearer to your factory. So they will do the verification of the infrastructure as per requirement and as per your statement, whether it is level there and things are okay. So one of the assigned official will visit to your factory to verify that. Maybe some correction or updation in the documents is required. That will be basically notified to you. It is so some correction and updation in the documents that you will have to do will be done by the officials. It will be checked by the officials in the field. Then we will send our report from the field units to our headquarters. They will do further scrutiny whether things are in order, and then there may be a visit of director, executive director to your factory premises. And basically your as of now the process of capacity assessment what we are following, that will be completed through this internal process of RDSO. And after that, you will be given a developmental source status. But with a caveat that you will have to comply with the type testing or prototyping or field trials after securing the purchase orders or supply orders from one of either from the railway side or one of the agencies who is procuring these items. For this, we have set a timeline of 60 days from your submission of application. So the time is not much. And you have earlier, there used to be a complaint that RDSO takes a lot of time in approving the vendors. This is not the condition now, and we are doing it very fast. In many cases, you might have heard that we have done it in a month also. In sometimes it is our time has reduced significantly in approving the vendors. When you are approved as a developmental source, you are entitled to get 20% of the tendered quantity. If there is a tender for 100, you will be entitled to get not more than 20. So that is one caveat. And once your performance has been judged to be okay, that all the conditions has been given in our website that you have to fulfill these conditions for getting upgraded to a fully approved source. But this condition has been relaxed in some of the cases where the vendors are very limited. Suppose there is an item and there is only 3 vendor or less than 3 vendor. In that case, this 20% criteria is not applied. You will be treated as an approved vendor. And in the beginning itself, I've told you that we are having 7 field units at different places in the country. So these are the contacts and office addresses. You can always feel free to reach out to these field units. You will have a lot of support from these units. If you want to contact RDSO Lucknow, you can do it through these contact details. You can basically reach out to the officials to whom you want to talk. You can schedule your meeting also. So these are our contacts. Thank you so much. I hope I have cleared some of your doubts, but I'm still available for one-to-one interaction, and whatever query you have, I should be able to clear your doubts. If not, we can definitely come in contact later on through email or telephone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bharti sir.
So you can ask your queries. You can go ahead with the queries, and I will try to basically clear your doubts.
Any queries from any participants, we can drop down in the chat box, or you can directly raise your hands and ask your queries, please.
I advise all of you to come out with your questions. Bharti Saab is here to give solutions to all your problems now or even later. So if you have any questions, you may ask now.
Yes, may I speak, please?
Yes, please.
A very good afternoon to everyone. Mr. Bharti, dhanyawad for the presentation. It was very informative. Firstly, I'm really happy to see the procedural changes that you have made. The earlier procedure and the revised procedure, especially providing free access to specifications and drawings, which will be an amazing help to prospective vendors and even present vendors who want to update their systems with any changes in the drawings and specifications. So I'm very happy about that. Besides that, testing charges are being waived. All these are very proactive measures, and we at Oriental Rubber Industries are quite happy to see that. The reason I actually came on, would it be possible to share your email and mobile number so that we can be in touch with you for specific requirements?
No issue. I'm just writing my email ID in my chat box.
Okay. Yeah.
So by email ID and contact number, I have just typed in chat box. Anybody who wants can note down.
What is your full name, sir?
I am Aniruddha Kumar Bharti.
Aniruddha Kumar Bhatt. Okay. Thank you very much once again for your presentation, and wish you a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Anyone asking questions, please introduce yourself first.
सर मेरा नाम राजन प्रसाद है।
हाँ बताइए।
हाँ सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, जो 10,000 जो रजिस्ट्रेशन फीस है, ये पर्टिकुलर वन प्रोडक्ट के लिए है या कोई भी प्रोडक्ट के लिए है? अगर मैं सेकंड टाइम कोई दूसरा प्रोडक्ट अप्रूवल ले रहा हूँ तो?
नहीं, again you will have to pay that fees. It is you see, our registration is product specific. It is not vendor specific. So
Okay,
each time you opt for a different product, you will have to pay that registration fee.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I missed, as Mr. Sinha said, you need to introduce, I missed introducing myself. My name is Ashwin Kohli, Win Kohli for short, and I am with Oriental Rubber Industries. Dhanyawad.
Thank you. Anybody else? Please go ahead with your queries.
Hello.
Yeah, Himanshu ji, bataiye.
Yeah, namaste. I am Himanshu here from Siloxane Agrandize Innovative Industries, Valsad, Gujarat. And we are basically raw material supplier. We are into thermoplastic elastomers, thermoplastic rubber. My understanding is that mostly you are looking after the finished products. Okay, maybe
Yes.
gaskets or say some other parts. So
Yes.
how we can directly approach? Is there any way wherein a raw material supplier can get connected with you directly for say suggestion of the
No,
product?
you cannot, basically you see these raw materials we are not requiring directly to the railways, because we procure the finished products for the rolling stocks or tracks or any fixed infrastructure also. So you will have to basically get in contact with those railway approved suppliers or RDSO approved suppliers who are basically consuming your product for supplying to the railways.
Okay, so can we find that list from any source or any website or wherein we can get the idea?
Yeah, in this, I told you this UVM Unified Vendor Approval Module that lists the product also, and that lists the basically vendors approved for those products also.
Okay, so list will be there on that website.
Yeah. When you select the particular product, you will get the list of vendors also.
Okay, sir. Thank you. One more question, sir.
Yeah.
Like many a times we come across a requirement, like say for an example, hydryl material. Okay, it's basically a polyester based elastomer material.
Okay.
Wherein we do not have that particular range. Okay. So is there any way like a specific kind of product is being approved by railways, like say synthetic rubber, thermoplastic elastomer, what we are making? So is there any method wherein we can follow that method and get our products introduced to railways? Because there are n number of applications wherein our product can work.
In that case, you will have to give a proposal to RDSO that this is our product is similar to what you are requiring for your rolling stock, and we will definitely examine whether that can basically replace or basically can be used in our day-to-day maintenance or manufacturing in place of some of the items we are using. We will definitely examine that. So you will have to basically come out with your proposal and send it to us.
Okay, I got it, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
May I come in, please, now?
Yeah.
My name is Kuldeep, and I'm from Industrial Rubber Products Private Limited. We are from Mumbai, and I'm very glad to share that we have been awarded National Award for Quality by our previous Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, and we have been supplying to various OEMs in India and also abroad. I had a quick question for Bharti ji. How much time does it take for a supplier to, what is the timeline from vendor registration to the first supply? That was the first question.
Yeah.
And second question is there a process available online where, whatever you have mentioned in your presentation, is there a document available for the process of vendor registration to approval to first supply?
You see, as I told you and explained briefly in my presentation,
Yeah.
and as I told you that the processes are basically given in when you go for this in this IREPS module, you will get lot of information available for the processes also and how to basically comply those processes in application process. Okay, so you will get lot of information there.
Okay.
And specification and drawings, that is also available in RDSO website, that you will have to basically go to our RDSO website and select the product, and you will find you can download the specification and drawings from there.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And how about the timeline from vendor
timeline?
registration?
Yes, I have mentioned in the presentation also that we have fixed a timeline of 2 months for our when you submit your application successfully. Submission of application from your side we take 2 months time now.
Okay, sir. Okay.
That is for the initial approval, conditional approval. But once you get this approval and you get the purchase orders or supply orders from some of the agencies, then your further basically process for type testing or performance testing will be done.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Basically, regular approved vendor only after completing that type testing and performance appraisal. But after completing this initial process, you can take orders, initial orders.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any more questions? Okay, since there are no more questions, I'll suggest that it's not compulsory to ask questions right now.
Somebody was basically asking to share the presentation. I have given this presentation to this your All India Rubber Industry Association, and I think they have displayed or basically linked it to somewhere on their website also. So
Correct.
you can get it from there also.
Yes, sir. तो भारती जी आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Since there are no more questions, और अगर हमारे पास कोई सवाल हो तो हम डायरेक्टली आपको ईमेल कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
ठीक है ना?
थैंक यू.
आपके आने का और कीमती वक्त देने का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. और हम आपसे इसी तरह से जुड़े रहेंगे. ठीक है? Thank you all.
Thank you so much. It was pleasure talking to all of you and being with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Bharti ji. Thank you very much.